Alright, hello everyone. Let's see here. How's it going? Let me just get to my YouTube channel and see what the chat is saying. So, hello Jake, hello Skyzilla, hello Jedi, hello Matthew, hello Glenn. Let's see. Glenn says, I have been warming my china very slowly with tepid water, then hotter before boiling tea. Thank you, Alex. 26 years hotel management. I just learned this tip from your live streams. Hashtag China saved. Well, if you... let's see. Oh, so you only just learned that from me? Wow. Where's the... oh, here we go. Well, I'm glad I could teach you something. But I don't know, if you've been doing that for 26 years, were you using China before? Have you had issues of it cracking or anything? Let me see. Try to... go. Go. Just a little pre-warming there. So, let's see what everyone's saying. My day is going great, Matthew. How's yours? Jake asks, how is everyone doing? I'm doing great. Got my best sandwiches here and pastries. Skyzilla says, been waiting for the stream all day. Jake says, love the video I uploaded last night. Thank you. Glad you liked it. Let's see. Ken asks, hey Alex, have you checked out Rex's running mate Conte de Savoia? Looked a lot like the Rex, but more modern design and had a cruiser stern. Beautiful looking ship. Yes, I have seen several pictures of Conte de Savoia, so maybe sometime in the future I'll have a video about that. I certainly have a lot of videos planned for the future, and so basically one of the video ideas I have actually is a mini documentary on the Queen Mary, and it's actually kind of funny because have any of you guys, are any of you guys like major Queen Mary fans? Have any of you heard of the Yarrow Project before? Boy, that car is loud. Let me know, have you heard of the Yarrow Project? While I do this. By the way, today is Irish breakfast tea. And hopefully this time I measured the amount of tea correctly, because last time I put way too much tea and I ended up making my tea disgusting. So this time I measured it out properly. Okay. Gotta refresh this thing because sometimes it doesn't like to show me the latest live chats here. Pookie Smoochie, could we please try to keep this family friendly? I know on my other channel, Alex Adner, it's not family friendly, but this channel sort of is, so, yeah, we're not gonna do that. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I should check the... So 4:05. 5 minutes, so 4:10. Okay. Hey, Fox Starline, how's it going? I'm doing good, Tyler. Thank you. Let's see. Ivan asks, how fast and high could the spruce goose fly? It was designed to be able to fly, I think... Wow, gosh, I don't know. Oh, my freezer's open. What in the world? I don't remember what the altitude is for it, but it was designed to fly over the Atlantic, so it's got to have a pretty high altitude and a long distance. Let's see. Jedi says, change my name from Von Doom to my old name. Okay. Strasbourg says, I see you have a new model in the back. Well, I wouldn't say new. It's very old, but yes, I finally brought my railroad out from the storage and finally set it up. But there's still lots of repairs that need to be done to this whole thing. I can't run the trains yet. But eventually when I do my live streams, you'll see the trains running around during the live streams. But it is in dire need of repairs. I can't run it because of that. The whole layout got damaged as I brought it over, so... let's see... Matthew says, having Tim Tams with my tea today, awesome. Eventually with the Stone says, what are we talking about today? So today we're talking about some video ideas. And I'll get to that in a second. I'm just going through everyone's. Blurban Productions, no Earl Grey. No, I had Earl Grey on my last live stream. I try to rotate them. I usually do 2 live streams with breakfast tea, since I have 2 boxes of those. And then I do 1 live stream with Earl Grey, 1 live stream with the Irish breakfast. And that's how I rotate it. Tyler says, did you hear what happened at the Oscars? Very crazy. Yeah, I saw really, really insane stuff. Gaming with a Kin says, guess what I'm playing? It starts with a G. I don't know. I don't have very many games. Mysterious Wanderer says, no sad music. It's not sad music. The music that I put in my videos is ambient music. I specifically choose it because it's the kind of music that people can listen to without getting annoyed. So, you know, like, I've watched so many YouTube videos where people put music to their videos, and it's like this really annoying music. Sometimes it's electronic, sometimes it's like hip-hop, sometimes it's like whatever. And it's like always some kind of really annoying music, especially vlog music, because they have this weird electronic, like humming singer in the background that's like doing like a high pitch, like through the whole thing, and I'm like, I can't stand that music. So my music is designed so it's for everybody. You listen to it, it doesn't annoy the crap out of you. So, but you'll be surprised how hard it is to find music that fits with what you're talking about. If I were to put music talking about, you know, about the funnels on the Titanic, it would be weird to play like exciting, adventurous music. It would be weird to play slow, sad music. It would be weird to play, you know, whatever. So I choose something in the middle. I choose ambient aesthetic music. It's just designed for you to listen and calm down to. That's the music I choose. It's not sad, it's calming music. So, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, Steve, you did join at the right time. I'm about to talk about that. Not all of it, but I am going to talk about just some basic ideas of how I'm involved. Tea time. Ow, ow, ow! I didn't break anything, I swear. I always burn myself on that lid. Okay, oh, Steve says the service ceiling is expected for the H4 Hercules was 20,000 feet. That's pretty good. Okay, let's see. Try not to burn myself again on this thing. There we go. No one has responded yet about the Yarrow Project. I asked, I said, everybody, I said, have any of you heard of the Yarrow Project? And nobody has responded yet, which is weird for me because I feel like whenever I talk to ocean liner fans, they've heard of the Yarrow Project. So, jeez. I should have brought the cup closer to me. That's what I usually do. Alright. Move that over here so it's not in the way necessarily. Can everybody still see everything? I try to set this up so it's easy to see. The sandwiches can't be seen. That better? Well, kind of. You know what? I'll put this over here. You're like, what are you doing, Alex? Like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to place this teapot where people can see it, but it's not like in the way of everything else. Okay, so Thomas Brooks says, I know of Yarrow boilers. That's right. It has to do with Yarrow boilers. Strasbourg, I don't think I'll be making any videos about United States. It's another one of those ships I don't really like, and I don't really have anything good to say about it, so I feel like if I tried, it would just come off as insincere. Alright. That one. Skyzilla says he thinks he's heard of the Yarrow Project. Yeah. Once I get this tea put together, we'll get into it. Okay, so those who don't know, the Yarrow Project is basically a project that was designed by Stephen Ablancy and Robin Jacobs. They used to work on and for the RMS Queen Mary while it was in Long Beach as a hotel. Well, it still is in Long Beach as a hotel. But their idea was basically to restore, let me reread his comment, boiler rooms 3 and 4 with replica, non-functional Yarrow boilers that the Queen Mary once had. The idea was that not only would you be able to walk around these two boiler rooms and see the massive size and scale of this equipment in real life, because there currently, for those who don't know, are no boilers left on the Queen Mary. During her conversion into a hotel in the late 1960s, they ripped out almost all of her propulsion system, except for her last 2 engines. She had 4 engines, but they only left 2 left. And so basically the Yarrow Project was to restore boiler rooms 3 and 4 so that way people could see it. But the other thing too was that it would be educational, and there would be fun interactive exhibits inside one of the boiler rooms, and there would be ways to learn new things and interact with the system, and it would be done in special effects as well, so you could get the feeling that the boilers were running and the ship was moving. It would all be done with basically like high quality materials and special effects and things like that. Really an amazing project, and it was underway. They were starting to put together the plans and ideas, and they were preparing a video that could be shown to the public and try to gain some support and things like that. Steve and Robin were both working on this project, and they put together a team, and everything was going full steam ahead, but then the RMS Foundation just ran out of time, and the RMS Foundation eventually applied for, or they went bankrupt essentially, and so the project was forever put on hold, and until then there's been no movement on the project at all. And that was what, 2009 was the last time, or was it 2007 was the last time you guys worked on it, or something like that. So so it is about the restoration of the Yarrow boilers. Now the Matthew says, I heard the hotel aspect of the Queen Mary's closed until early 2023 because the boilers that supply hot water to her kitchens and cabins aren't functional at the moment. Yes, those aren't the same as the Yarrow boilers. Those were hotel boilers that were added outside the ship on the land, that were added to the area so that way it could supply the ship with hot water for the kitchens and cabins. But those aren't ship boilers. Those are just hotel boilers. Those are non-functional. Those are being replaced currently. But this is the ship's original boilers we're talking about, the Yarrow boilers. Yeah, Steve says the last time it was worked on was about 2009, just about. So yeah, it's been, what, 13 years since then. So anyway, it just so happened that Steve and his team, they were starting to put together this video that could be shown to the public, and one of the first things that they did was they ended up bringing in actor Ernest Borgnine, who you might know as, one of the stars of the Poseidon Adventure. He was in the TV show Airwolf. From my generation, we grew up watching SpongeBob, and he played the role of Mermaid Man on SpongeBob and stuff like that. So he's been in a lot of movies. He's an award-winning actor. Or was an award-winning actor, and he was brought in to narrate basically a history of the ship and an explanation of the Yarrow Project. And Steve still has all that original narration. It was never put into final use to be shown to the public, so no one in the general public has ever heard this recording or narration or anything. So I've been working with Steve and Robin to see if I could finally help them complete that project and turn it into a series of YouTube videos that you all can watch. The narration is amazing. Not only was the writing of the narration very catching and engaging, but the narration itself by Ernest, his voice, everything, it really brings the words to life. It's amazing narration. So I was just like, people have to hear this. This is an amazing thing. So yes, so that is some videos that are going to be in the works. A mini documentary voiced by Ernest Borgnine, and then a video about the Yarrow Project and what it means and what it is and all the plans and ideas for it, also narrated by Ernest Borgnine, and then a behind-the-scenes video that where I'll be talking to Steve and Robin and asking them about, the Yarrow Project and what its history was and why it never came to be, and possibly how it can still come to be in the future. So the whole hope with this is that maybe it'll regenerate some new interest, and people will want to approach with with offers and ways to help with the project. That's the whole goal here. So yeah, so let me get to some comments now. Try not to leave you guys for too long by yourselves, because there's a comments build up. Yeah, Conrad, the Yarrow boilers were oil fired. They weren't coal. Is it Borgnine? Borgnine, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Borgnine. Okay, so let's see. No one's asking about the Yarrow Project videos? Alright. Ivan says, do you prefer winter or summer? Winter. Mishicat says, hey Alex, how's it going? I know this is a little off topic since it's culinary inquiry. I made tomato bisque the other day. It turned out quite acidic. I was looking up answers. Some suggestions were to add some sugar or a little baking soda. Just wanted to know if either of these suggestions are correct, or what do you recommend? So, tomato bisque, yeah, let's see. I wouldn't use baking soda only because while the tomato bisque is acidic, the baking soda will also make it taste more bitter. So I would say add a little bit more heavy cream to it. By adding heavy cream to it, you do kind of dilute the bisque a little bit, but the other thing too is that it makes it less acidic. But heavy cream is the way to go. Let's see if there's any other suggestion I would have. Sugar does sweeten it, but it doesn't get rid of the acidity. But sugar is a good idea if you do want it to be sweeter, though. That's for sure. Yeah, I would say a little bit of heavy cream, some sugar, and then you might want to adjust the seasoning level, because once you add, again, the heavy cream will also kind of dilute the flavor. So so you might want to adjust your seasonings after that. If you have some basil in there or something, then you might want to add a little bit more or something. But yeah, generally speaking, the way you reduce the acidity is heavy cream. You could try baking soda, but honestly, it would make it taste a bit weird. Let's see. Oh, Steve, what am I dipping into my tea? This is homemade Scottish shortbread. So, when I first started doing these tea times, I was testing out Scottish shortbread that I bought from, I imported it from the UK. It was pretty expensive, but I wanted to see what it was like and what the big deal was, so I decided to start making it myself because it is so expensive. It's expensive to make, but it's less expensive to make than to buy it, so, but yeah, so, Scottish shortbread, really delicious. And then over here on this side, I have my digestive tea biscuits. They're chocolate covered. Matthew says, do you think the Spruce Goose's engines can still turn over and operate today? Well, that's hard to say, because they were kept in flying condition until 1976. But until then, I doubt they have been. So, since 1976 to now, I doubt it. I doubt it. Conrad says, I've learned from you that Queen Mary ended up with lighter boilers than originally designed, and that increased her roll. Did Cunard consider adding that extra weight back to reduce her roll? Yeah, they did keep, I would suspect, more ballast on the ship. Ballast was in the form of seawater that they would fill these tanks on the ship with seawater to help load the ship down. But ultimately, I couldn't answer that fully because the result was that the Queen Mary still rolled pretty easily. So I'm estimating that adding more ballast didn't necessarily help. So I don't know. I do know that they would have tried, that's for sure. And then eventually they added stabilizer fins to the ship in 1958 to help reduce rolling. That worked up into certain weather. If the weather was extra bad, like a hurricane, they couldn't use the stabilizer fins. They'd have to put them in. So, yeah. Gaming says, is it true that the Russian submarine next to the Queen Mary is sinking? But what happens if it full on sinks? Will they just leave it there or pick it up? So last I heard of it, it was flooded with water. Not fully. I think it was just the rear area was flooded with water. But it's not sinking at the moment. It's still floating. What happens if it were to sink? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'd love to say, well, yeah, they'll fish it out, but I mean, it's Long Beach. I mean, they don't get anything done till years after it's too late. So, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what they would do. I can tell you what I hope they would do. I hope that if it did sink, they would fish it out immediately. Heck, I'm hoping right now they'll fish it out and get it out of there. They are currently working, though, on trying to get in touch with the former owners, and if they can't, they'll just deem it abandoned and get it out themselves. But we'll see. Yes. Hello, RMS Queen Mary. Little Gamer says, if Lusitania was carrying 0 munitions, would it have sunk? Yeah, I think so. Because the amount of damage from the torpedo was still pretty bad. It had bent the bulkheads and stuff all the way around it, so they couldn't close essential watertight doors and stuff, so it caused way too much damage in the first place, and then the explosion following it made things even worse. So yeah, I think it would have been too much. Is the Plimsoll line extract, or is it just a safety limit? Oh, is the Plimsoll line exact? Plimsoll line. I don't know what a Plimsoll line is. Hello, Mateo. Adam says, what are you planning to do if the Yarrow Project narration missed an important fact? I don't think it did. Yeah, I know that. So Steve Ablonsi, he wrote the narration for that, and he is extremely knowledgeable. I don't think he missed any facts that are important. So, and I'll be listening to the whole narration to double check that there's anything that I think I might have to question or something like that. But I don't foresee any issues with it. Matthew says, do you think the Yarrow Project will ever be completed, and do you think they will rebuild her forward engines? Well, I don't know. I can't answer that for sure about the Yarrow Project. I mean, first I have to make the videos. From there, we'll see who we can show the videos to, because the videos are designed as a pitch, you know, for the project. It's designed to catch someone's interest, and so after I complete the videos, we'll see who we can show them to and how we can get that to happen. But it's way too early to say whether or not we think it'll ever happen. We certainly hope it'll happen. I personally believe the Yarrow Project could be the main reason why people will visit the ship in the future. Currently, the main reason people visit the ship is not for its history, it's for its ghosts, which is unfortunate because the ship has an incredible history. So I would one day like to see more people visiting for something like the Yarrow Project, or just to learn the history of the ship in general, versus just being there for ghosts. You know, I was having a conversation last night with Steve and Rob, and we were talking about the disappointing fact that, you know, people, they go there, they see tours and stuff of the ship, and they learn all these incredible facts, and the only thing they have to comment is, are there any ghosts? And it's really sad, you know, it's really sad because, you know, the ship has so much to offer, but all anyone ever sees is just like, oh, the ghosts, and it's like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell people who have seen ghosts that it's not true. I mean, I'm sure on some level the ship is haunted, but it's not, again, like I always say on these live streams, it's not like there's a portal to hell in the bottom of the ship, you know. It's not that kind of haunted. You know, when I go on the ship, it has this happy feeling, this joy, this love, like people have loved the ship. And it feels wonderful. And so if it is haunted, it's happy haunts, as Disney would say. So, although they didn't say, but they would say in terms of Haunted Mansion. But yeah, so yeah, we hope that that people will go there to see the Yarrow Project someday. Yeah, Steve says the nice thing about the Mary's roll was that as it rolled, it was slow and stable. That's true, because there's different ways that ships can roll. They say the Normandy was a snappy roller, so it would turn this way and then snap back that way, and then it would turn that way and snap back that way. But the Queen Mary was just a slow, gentle roll. And that's a lot better because at least you're not literally being tossed around like rag dolls, you know. So, Conrad says, did passengers on the Queen Mary or do Brits today warm up their china they use for tea? If it's china, yes. On the Queen Mary, what they would have done was the stewards would have carried like hot water pitchers. So basically, like, there's one that looks like this, but it's got a lid. That's the hot water pitcher. This could be used as a hot water pitcher too, in fact. But they would fill it with like hot boiling water, and then they would pre-warm the teacups that way. They had like extra dishes and stuff to like dump all that out. The teapots in the kitchen would have been pre-warmed and then filled with boiling water. The pre-warming, they would have done that real quick. I think they probably would have poured some really hot tap water in there, swished it around, dumped it out, and then poured the boiling water in. And then that probably would have been enough. But I imagine, you know, there's a reason why they were constantly ordering new china, is because stuff was always breaking. So not just because of hot water, but also just because use, you know. But yeah, so I do imagine that they probably shattered quite a bit of china pouring boiling water in it. The good news about the teacups, though, is that the teacups, you don't necessarily need to put boiling water in them because the tea is already very cool by the time it's finished brewing. I mean, I say cool, but it's still hot to the touch, but that's still not hot enough, I don't think, to shatter the china. But yeah, they would have pre-warmed the teapot prior to putting the boiling water and the tea in there, and then they would have brought it out. So I don't know, perhaps Steve has more to say on that subject. Let's see. See, everybody feels like having tea when I have the tea set out. Yeah. That's the goal. My goal with these live streams is to not just interact with you guys and to, play Tea Party, but it's so that way everybody can feel like, oh, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee, or I'm gonna have a cup of tea, or I'm gonna have a cup of Kool-Aid while I watch this. Like we can all just interact and have a good time. So, Jet Lincoln says, I wish they would finally develop Queen Mary into the center of a large LA basic cruise terminal with multiple piers around her, but for being the centerpiece to really drive it more. It's funny you say that because that's exactly what the Port Authority wants to do. The city of Long Beach is thinking about, they're right now setting up paperwork to hand over the ownership of the Queen Mary to the Port Authority. Now, the Port Authority, they want to do exactly what you just said. They want to build a newer, larger cruise ship terminal. They call it like a... What do they call it? Like a fifth generation, I think they call it. Like a fifth generation cruise terminal. Which basically means that fifth generation cruise terminals are cruise terminals with entertainment complexes in them. So it's not just for going there and getting on a cruise ship. It's for locals to come and hang out. So they want to have all kinds of stuff, theaters and everything, arcades, fun places to be in these cruise terminals. They want to build that right next to the Queen Mary, with the Queen Mary as the centerpiece. And I think they want to put at least 2 or 4, let me rephrase that. They want to increase the capacity of the cruise terminal from its current 1 ship at a time system to anywhere between 2 and 4 ships at a time. So that's what they want to do. Make it a major cruise terminal for Long Beach. And I think that's a good idea, as long as they don't forget that the Queen Mary needs some work. And I don't think they will, because right now the city is currently exploring options. They just ordered the city manager to get quotes and stuff for building a nearby permanent dry dock. And the permanent dry dock would tow the Queen Mary over to it to get serviced, from underneath. And whenever the Queen Mary is not in there, they can use the dry dock for other ships and stuff that come into port, which is a good thing because the United States in general doesn't have enough dry docks. So that's a good thing if they build it. And I think that they will. So I am very hopeful for the future. But I would like to see more community involvement, that's for sure. Alright, let's see. RMS Queen Mary says, why don't ships get launched the way that they used to? Because they're too big, frankly. If you tried to launch them on a slipway, it could damage the ship, it could damage nearby structures. They used to. I mean, look at the Queen Mary. When the Queen Mary was launched, one of the things they were worried about was, if the rudder would get damaged, would the rudder hit the bottom of the river? Would the propellers hit the bottom of the river? And then, thankfully, none of that happened. But when it did launch and it landed in the water, it flooded fields. And a farmer a mile away says he got his feet wet when the ships force the riverbanks to overtop. So, it's not safe to launch ships that way anymore with how big they are. So currently what they do is they just build them inside of an already dry dock, and then they just flood the dry dock when they're ready and float the ship out. It's a much safer way of doing it. Jet Lincoln says Pimsol lines are the load limit lines you see along a ship. Okay. Alright, see you later, gaming. Let's see. Oh, plimsoll marker. Okay. Mateo, I already explained the Yarrow Project earlier. You missed it. Bryce says, hey Alex, love your videos. Lifelong ocean liner enthusiast myself. Cheers. Thank you, Bryce. Matthew says, could you please make a video about White Star Line's RMS Atlantic? Eventually, one day. I don't necessarily accept ideas, because the thing is that I already have, like, I don't know if you guys know this, I already have so many video ideas. I actually am like 8 months backed up on video ideas. So I can't just say, yes, I'm going to do Atlantic, because it's like a year away. So I don't know. I honestly, I have so many videos to make. But, let's see. Little Gamer says, what would happen if the Queen Mary was restored? Like, just sitting where she is in her dock? That would be nice. I think more people would feel like they'd want to go there if the ship was fully restored, because then they could visit the ship and see how she's supposed to look, you know? Nice and beautiful and clean. That'd be nice. Skyzilla says, how many decibels is the Queen Mary's whistle/horn? I don't know the decibel number. I can tell you the frequency, you know, they're 55 hertz. It's an A note, that's for sure, but no, I don't know the decibel. Let's see. Abigail Adams says, how long does it take for a steam train to travel from San Francisco to New York? I mean, that depends on how many stops it has. That depends on, you know, on what route it's taking. That depends on where it needs to refuel, or even the urgency even can affect how long it takes. But I don't know. My focus on trains has never been on, you know, on interstate travel. Like, the trains I like are usually short lines, and short lines only go, you know, at most like 100 miles. Yeah, I'm not much of an expert on you know, transcontinental rails. Like, yeah, I like narrow gauge a lot, and narrow gauge, they've never built one that goes from one side of the country to the other. So Matthew says, having black tea with honey today. Awesome. Thank you, Cree Cree. Yeah, Adventures of the Stone says, it's too bad we can't send pictures of our tea to you here in the chat. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Skyzilla, I don't know how many decibels the Queen Mary's horn was. Little Gamer says, should Titanic be rebuilt in a massive outdoor area for some sort of museum? As a museum, yes. As a cruise ship, no. I don't like the idea of it being a cruise ship. Let's see. Matthew says, can Queen Mary be towed without damaging her? Oh yeah, I mean, if you have skilled people, I mean, you wouldn't want, Mr. Magoo behind the behind the helm of a tugboat, But I mean, if you have skilled people, yeah. I mean, think about it. She was put there using tugboats. She didn't just drive into where she is right now. Like, they towed her from the dry dock to her current place on Pier J. So yeah, she can be towed as long as you have some experienced, qualified people. RMS Queen Mary says, what is the blue ribbon? It is basically an accolade that is given to old ocean liners that could make the transatlantic run from one light ship to the other on the other side of the Atlantic within a period of time that beats the record of the previous ship. There was no official trophy that used to be handed over to ships. There was no official literal ribbon that was handed over to ships back then. They did eventually build a trophy that was, for the blue ribbon, but to my knowledge, it was never, like, the trophy was never officially handed over to a ship. It was just there as a representation of the blue ribbon, and it was held in some building for the longest time. Now it's in a museum. Yeah, they would first have to remove the permanent breakwater around her. They wouldn't have to remove the whole thing. They could just do what they did in the 70s and just remove the back end of the breakwater to pull her out that way. Michael says, my great-grandparents and aunt survived the Andre Doria. Will there be any videos of the sinking of the Doria soon? No, because a lot of channels have already covered that. I don't like to cover stuff that's been covered multiple times, or stuff like that. There's plenty of channels that cover the Andre Doria. Yeah, so many videos, so little time, exactly. I have been working non-stop on videos. Every day I wake up, I have my breakfast, I make videos till nighttime, and it's just, it's a lot. Yeah, it's already been, 40 minutes. Pookie Smoochie says, do you plan on building up landscaping on your train model? Yes, actually, this whole thing will eventually be fully built one day, but that'll take years. It'll take years because that's just, these railroad layouts are really expensive. Mateo says, would they therefore need to put doors on the breakwater? I think it would help, yeah. I think if they build that external dock for dry docking the ship, then they could dry dock the ship periodically, which I think for a ship like Queen Mary that just sits there, she would only need to be dry docked maybe every 5 or 10 years. It really wouldn't need to be that often. But it would help if they built doors in the breakwater, so that way they don't have to constantly, shovel out the rocks of the breakwater all the time. I do have a feeling that might be what they will eventually do or something. Jake asks, how's your day going? It's going good. If the Queen Elizabeth didn't sink, what do you think she would be doing right now? I think by now she'd either be scrapped or she would be a floating museum, just like the Queen Mary is. Yeah. Carl says, hi Alex, why in the 1997 Titanic movie the lifeboat said SS Titanic? It's not RMS. The Titanic was RMS, but that is Royal Mail ship, but the Titanic is also technically SS Titanic. Whether or not she has the contract with the Royal Mail, she is SS because SS stood for steamship. So Titanic was SS Titanic, and it is still correct to say SS Titanic. But RMS is the extra designation for Royal Mail ship. So, so yeah. T. Soot asks, why does Queen Mary have a rock barricade around it? To protect it from the ocean, basically. If there was large waves that came in for any reason, you know, tsunamis, whatever, the breakwater would slow that water from when it comes in, and that prevents extra damage from the Queen Mary. The other thing, too, is that if there was let's say there was a small boat that was out of control, right? Let's say there was like a yacht or something that was out of control and it was headed right for the Queen Mary. Instead of it being able to plow right into the side of the ship and damage her, it would hit the breakwater. You know, heck, I'd even say that if for any reason, if a cruise ship were to plow into that breakwater, it would slowly come to a stop. Before it ever hit the Queen Mary. So that's why there's a breakwater around the ship. It's for the weather, it's for collisions, and other such things. So Queen Mary is well protected. I am happy they put a breakwater around the Queen Mary. The other thing too that's really awesome about that breakwater, if you ever watch drone footage of the harbor, right, you'll see that the wind creates choppy little waves in the harbor, right? But if you look at the Queen Mary's lagoon, where she is, there's almost no waves at all. It's very, very calm. That's because, so out in the open of the harbor, the little waves that are created by the wind, those also create other waves, and then they interact with each other and make bigger waves, right? Well, since only the wind can interact with the movement of the surface of the water around the Queen Mary, you see little ripples on the water, but not little choppy waves. And so basically that actually has helped the Queen Mary's waterline, because the water lines on old museum ships, they tend to get worn out a lot faster because of the constant water hitting the steel of the ship. It creates constant wet and dry, wet and dry, wet and dry as it hits. And that constant back and forth between wet and dry can actually ruin and corrode the ship faster. So if you look at other museum ships that are sitting in water, you'll usually see some severe corrosion right at the waterline. Queen Mary doesn't have it that bad because of the fact that she doesn't have choppy water hitting her constantly. It's really cool. Matthew says, why won't Long Beach just tow her to a dry dock? Well, because, Matthew, the only dry dock that is closest to the Queen Mary is either somewhere in Asia or in Texas. There's no other dry dock in the western United States or Mexico or even Canada, that is large enough for the Queen Mary. There's just the nearest dry dock that they could do it is either across the Pacific or in Texas. So it's not possible. They can't tow her to a dry dock. So they have to build one. You know, there used to be a dry dock big enough for her. It was the naval dry dock that was just less than a mile away from the Queen Mary. But that naval dry dock was paved over and turned into a freight dock for unloading cargo. So there's no longer a dry dock large enough for the Queen Mary on the coast of this continent. Let's see. JD says, how do boats actually float because they are so damn heavy? Buoyancy. Buoyancy. It's a whole complicated thing, but buoyancy. Michael says, awesome fun fact. My aunt lost her convertible on board during the sinking. Of what? The Androdoria? Little Gamer says, should someone make a 1-to-1 Titanic for sinking? No, I think that's very distasteful. People lost their lives on that. People shouldn't be watching that for fun. Matthew says, is it just me or is there a large hole in the back of your train table? It's not a hole, it's a river. So, well, I can't reach it from because it's too far, but there's a huge river that goes all the way down the length of the train table. So, it's huge. Let's see. Adventures of the Stone says, I've always wanted to buy the Disneyland Railroad toy set, but I want more track to make it go around the room. Wonder if you can buy just the track. Yeah, I mean, the Disneyland Railroad toy set, well, it depends on which one you're talking about. There's been a lot of different toy sets, and they're all different sizes. So I don't know, but generally speaking, you can buy track for any kind of Disneyland Railroad toy set. They usually are a certain scale, so you can actually find the track that corresponds to that scale. Yeah, but Steven, the one in San Diego that was big enough for the Queen Mary is gone. They closed it. Because I was listening to the online live thing back when they were doing the things live, when they were talking about the Queen Mary. The city of Long Beach was doing these meetings live, and in one of the meetings they were talking to the guy, forget his name, but he always is the one that they ask, what are we doing now? And he's like, oh, we're doing this, you know. He's that guy. They were talking to him, and they said, you know, can the Queen Mary be towed to a dry dock? And he says, well, there was one in San Diego, but it's currently being decommissioned. So it's no longer going to be in use. So yeah, I think it's because the only reason why they had that dry dock in San Diego was for really big Navy ships. But Navy ships are getting smaller, and they already retired the really big ones, like the CVN 60. Oh God, whatever. The Enterprise. The Enterprise was like one that they could have put in the dry dock there. But now that their ships are getting smaller, they don't need a dry dock that large, and they already have another one big enough. So I think they decommissioned that one. So recently, they were asking again, like where would they tow it to, and they said the nearest one in the United States is Texas. Connor says, do you know how many RMS Royal Mail service ships existed at any one time? Was any ship sailing to America in RMS? Oh yeah, Titanic was a ship that sailed from the UK to the US. That was RMS. Queen Mary was RMS. RMS is just a mail service, and obviously Royal Mail goes all over the world. So you know, Royal Mail isn't limited really. If there is another major company that receives, or not country, there's another major country that receives Royal Mail, then there was usually a Royal Mail ship. As to how many there were at any one time, I don't know, but hundreds, I guess, because there was RMS ships for the Canadian Pacific. There was RMS ships for the British lines, you know. There were even RMS Australian ships, that kind of thing. So they were just all over the world. Yeah, Jake, actually what's kind of funny is that's halfway right that St. Helena is RMS ship still in service, but technically the Queen Mary 2 is also an RMS ship. Um, yeah. Adventure of the Stone says, why don't they just submerge boxes like around the propeller and paint and repair in sections? That was my idea too. I had the same exact idea. But it turns out it would be more expensive than just building a dry dock. And the reason why is because, first of all, the ship is huge. Second of all, it's a very odd shape to be building those boxes in. It would just be really, really, really expensive. Usually ships that that receive maintenance in that way are only receiving spot maintenance. They're not receiving full maintenance. So building one little box that fits to a very specific section of the ship for repairing that specific section is one thing, but doing it for the entire ship, it's too expensive. They don't want to do that. So. RMS Queen Mary asks, do you know what caused Normandy to catch fire? I used to know, but I forgot. Basically, like some kind of equipment overheated, and it caught fire, and that's what started the fire. It like lit up drapes or something, and then the drapes lit everything else up. Hello, Alejandro. Well, little gamer, it doesn't help to sink an identical ship because. Have you ever heard of the chaos theory? The chaos theory is a real thing. It's not just from Jurassic Park. It's a real theory. And the best way to describe it is exactly how Ian Malcolm described it in Jurassic Park. He says, let's say you make a drop of water fall from your hand. He says, if we place the water here, which way do you think it'll go? Will it go in between the cracks of your fingers or down the back of your hand? So he tries it. It goes down the back of her hand, and he says, okay, let's try it again. If we do it again, which way will it roll off? The same, or will it go forward? And it changed directions. It couldn't be repeated. And the reason why is because there are tons of variables, lots and lots of variables, and those variables change with every moment. And so because of those variables, the drop of water will fall in a different direction, oftentimes in different ways. So that's kind of that's a perfect example of how the chaos theory works. Amazing writing by Michael Crichton. But yes, that is essentially why it wouldn't help to build an exact replica of the Titanic and sink it. First of all, because it's really expensive. Why would you build something just to sink it? It would cost hundreds of millions to build a replica Titanic, and then you throw all that away by sinking it. But the other reason, too, is because you won't get the same result. The ship will break in a different area, or maybe it won't break at all this time, or maybe it'll sink completely differently than it did the first time. So the chaos theory is the whole reason why a second identical Titanic would not sink the same way. Nimitz and Gerald Ford class carriers are bigger than the Enterprise, the CVN. What was it? I always forget the name of the thing. I don't think that's right. Because they've been building them smaller. I feel like I have to look it up now. Because as far as I know, I remember reading up on it, and that they weren't going to build ships the size of Enterprise anymore. They were too big. CVN 65. Yeah, CVN 65. Length 1,122 feet. USS Nimitz. Yeah, the Nimitz class is older. It's not the recent class of ships. Gerald R. Ford class, let's try that one. USS Gerald R. Ford. Is shorter, 1,106 feet. Versus 1,122. So it is smaller. Yeah, it's smaller in terms of length. And length and width are usually like the issues with dry docks, is will it fit length or width wise. So yeah, they're building smaller ships. Okay, so let's see who's here. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, I know, Chris. You and I have had this. But this is my first time having this conversation with Steven. So, yeah. The tea is delicious, Transit Biker. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Cunard says, and you're getting two models in the same scale, I think you would find it easier to find and build both Titanic and Queen Mary in 1/580th than find Queen Mary. I found 1/570th. Is that what you mean? But they're really old, outdated models that are inaccurate. That's the problem. That's the reason why I haven't bought those two. Is because the 1/570th models of both Queen Mary and Titanic are highly inaccurate. So that's the reason why I haven't bought them. Let's see. Ivan Joseph says, when do you think your railroad is going to be finished? It's not. Railroads, like people's home model railroads, they're never done. You never finish them. You're always adding and changing things. So it'll never be finished. Hello, Alejandro. Glad to see you here. Jake asks, will there be an Alex Adner video tonight? I don't know. I'll have to ask my friends and see if they're available to play a game or something. But we'll also see, because I am really busy. After this, I have to write a script for my next history video. So, we'll see. El Nino asks, would you rather visit Titanic wreck or Britannic wreck? You have to go inside the wreck. If I had to choose, and I was like being held at gunpoint, because that's honestly how you'd have to get me to see those wrecks, is by gunpoint, I would choose Britannic, because at least it isn't as far down, and there's less likely chance my submarine will explode, so, or implode. Yeah, see, Chris with a K, I told you that the newer class carriers are smaller in terms of length and width than the CVN 65. They're building them smaller. Matthew Mahoney says, what do you think about Oceanic 3? Don't like it that much. I don't hate it, but it looks weird. Alright, see you later, Steven. Have a good dinner. Ivan Joseph says, thoughts on planets, Alex? Earth is my favorite. I'm doing very well, ScamFan Ed, thank you. Ivan, no, I don't play games like that. I like to play historical games. Stuff about trains, stuff about, you know, World War II, that kind of thing. I like historical games. Okay, so I've been looking forward to these cucumber sandwiches all day. Conrad says my answer about Earth being my favorite is a great answer. I'm not much into space, you know, like, I never have. Like, I think David Attenborough said it best. He said, you know, space is interesting. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. I don't remember his exact words, but paraphrasing, he says, you know, space is great, but I find more fascination with what happens here on Earth. He says, I'm more interested in Earth than I am than what's happening out there, because space is just this big, empty, black void. And I have to agree, space is interesting to a certain degree, but I am much more interested in what happens here on Earth. So... Stephen Housley says, what is the best cucumber sandwich recipe? I mean, I don't know. I haven't tried very many. Crittenden. Which would you rather sail on, SS United States or Queen Mary 2? Queen Mary 2. I would pretty much sail on almost any ship other than SS United States. Even Normandy. Everyone knows, because of my recent video, I don't like Normandy. I would even sail on Normandy rather than to sail on the SS United States. Thomas Brooks says, I prefer Earth because it's the only planet with ocean liners. Yep, I agree. Ivan Joseph says, is the Spruce Goose cockpit for one pilot? Yes, it is. Which is what makes it so weird, because normally large airplanes like that have space for a pilot and a co-pilot, but but the way that Howard Hughes designed it was only one pilot could operate it, and the seat that is for the co-pilot really isn't for co-pilot at all. He just sits there to monitor things, but he doesn't have any controls. Hello, Gaming with Kin. I saw messages from your brother. Jake says, wow, that's 6 days on a train. I would jump off the train at 98 hours. Yeah, I don't mind spending a week or a month on an ocean liner, but I do not want to spend 6 days on a train. Steven says, do you think Disney will ever reskin or change the Tiki Room? Yeah. I mean, they already have. They've already changed it. And in Walt Disney World, they changed it majorly at one point. So yeah, of course. I think they would reskin or change anything, to be honest. So they just haven't because, you know, sometimes these things are really popular and they just don't change them. Matthew says, what is it about SS United States that you don't like? I don't like the color scheme. I don't like the fact that the materials that they used and the colors and the aesthetic is very cold and very... It doesn't feel organic. You know, there are ships today that are designed with the same amount of fire safety as the SS United States, such as the Queen Mary 2, but they still make it look organic. They still give it the wood paneling and the marble and the, you know, it looks beautiful. The SS United States didn't have that. It felt like, it looks like, you know what it looks like? The SS United States, it looks like how I would feel if I was inside of a 1950s refrigerator. You know, like, I don't feel like it would, it looks sleek and modern, but it doesn't look like some place that's hospitable. So that's why I don't like the SS United States. It's weird. I don't like the way it looks on the outside. I don't like the way it looks on the inside. And it's certainly not the aesthetic style I'm used to or even like, so... Well, Robert, I can respect engineering without liking it. I respect engineering. You know, I respect the SS Normandy's designs and engineering and interiors. I respect it. I appreciate it, but I don't like it. I don't have to like it. So, I mean, I can't help it. It's like it's like someone saying, you know, like, oh well, Alex, you know, green is a very beautiful color. You should really love it. I can say, well, you know, I like green on trees. I like green on plants. I like green on moss. But I do not like green on couches. I do not like green on carpets. I do not like green Sam I Am. You know, it's just, I can respect the aesthetic of something. I can respect the design. I can appreciate things, but I don't have to like it. So... Chris says, hey Alex, been a fan of your work for 2 years now. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have a lot of plans for videos in the future. Yeah, Conrad says, we have lots of questions today. Last time Alex finished his food in 1 hour. Either that or he was hungrier than last time. You know what? You know what it is I eat slower when I have a lot more questions. I love the questions. That's why last time, I wasn't getting very many questions on the last live stream. And so the live stream felt like it was going slow. And I'm like, oh, I like it when a live stream has things for me to talk about, you know. So Tyler says, yes, I love Queen Mary so much that sometimes I would dream that I'm on board, but as a zombie eating everyone who tries to destroy her. Well, I must say, I'm glad I don't have your dreams. Alejandro says, have you ever been on an ocean liner? No. Well, I mean, yes, technically. I've been on the Queen Mary, but I mean, the Queen Mary doesn't sail anywhere, so... But, I mean, I have been on the Queen Mary, so, yeah, I've been on an ocean liner. But I haven't been on an ocean liner that's actively in service. But I do plan to try to do, like, a Kickstarter, so that way I can take the Queen Mary 2, which is an ocean liner, on a transatlantic crossing to the UK, and film a bunch of historic places for the channel. I want to cover a lot more history and a lot more stuff, and try to bring all that history and stories to the channel. So, like, some places I want to go is we'll arrive in Southampton. I want to see cities like London and film a lot of weird, like, little historic places in London. Go to Bristol, see the SS Great Britain, see the giant iron bridge they have there. I'm sorry. I know everybody always tells me the name of the bridge. I always forget. I'm sorry. And then there's heritage railroads there that I want to visit and take video of. And then we want to go to Belfast to see the Titanic Museum and the areas where Titanic was built. And then we have plans to go to Paris, film around Paris, also see Paris Disneyland, film a little bit of Paris Disneyland for future videos. Yeah, so we have this whole thing planned out, and I really want to do that, and so I'm thinking about starting a Kickstarter for it, since it's kind of like an investment in the channel, because I'll be spending, like, 80% of my time filming everything for the channel, and then doing research and stuff. Like, while I'm there, I'll have to be researching as we go, so that way I know what I should be filming and stuff as I do it. So, a lot of work in the future, but I would love to do it. And I want to film the entire trip on the Queen Mary 2, so I can make videos about Atlantic crossings and stuff like that, and about, like, Cunard and what it's doing today and stuff like that. So, I want to do all that stuff. Mark says... Oh, he's talking to somebody else. Steven says, I really enjoyed the Haunted Disney Stories series in October, but do you think you'll do more of those, or potentially, if not stories of your own, stories of other cast? Like I said in the videos, I have nothing else. The 3 videos are everything I have. I gave every last story in those things. And, frankly, I don't have any more, so I can't. Mark says, Alex, do you plan to stay aboard Queen Mary again as soon as she reopens? I wonder if there will be a grand opening with enthusiasts invited. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt the city cares that much. I think that they'll just open it quietly one day. And, yeah, they might announce it on the internet and stuff, but I don't think there's going to be, like, this grand gala or anything. It's just going to open and be like, hey, we're open, come in. I don't think they care that much. But, yes, I do want to stay on the Queen Mary. My hope is to stay on the Queen Mary for a whole week, eventually. I don't know when. We'll see if I have the money. But I want to stay on the Queen Mary for a whole week, film every inch of the ship from top to bottom, from stem to stern. I want to film everything I possibly can on the Queen Mary, so I can make way more videos about the Queen Mary in the future. Believe me, we've only barely scratched the surface of information I could provide to you on the Queen Mary. There is so much video potential for the Queen Mary. It's unbelievable. I've probably got years worth of stuff that I could tell you guys in video format, but I need to get footage of the ship in order to do it, or else I can't make those videos. They wouldn't be videos, they would just be podcasts, and I don't like doing podcasts, so, yeah. Crittenden says, will Disney ever buy back Queen Mary? No, they can't anyway. The Queen Mary's not for sale. Thomas says, it's the Clifton Suspension Bridge. I know, but I'm going to forget again. I'm gonna forget again. I can't remember that name. Clifton Suspension Bridge. I don't be able to remember it. Conrad says Alexic or Alexia. Which would you name a ship? Neither. Neither. Yeah, I agree, Mark. If for all the footage I want to get, I need to be on the Queen Mary for a week because I want to see everything. You know, I've talked to some people who might be able to get me into some areas that most people don't get to see. I like to film those areas too for future videos. There's so much video potential for the Queen Mary. It is ridiculous. I could make a video on various rooms and stuff like that. Like, there's just so much to talk about. But without enough stuff to show people, I can't make those videos. So I have to get more footage of the ship. Thank you, Chris, for the compliment about my Haunted Mansion videos. Adventure with Stone says, I wonder when we will be able to stay on the Queen Mary again. They said they want to have the hotel portion of the ship opened early 2023. I don't know what month, but they said early 2023. So we'll see. Steven says, as somebody who lives in the Portland metro area, I would love to see some history videos about the region. Is that in the queue? Actually, yes. The video I'm working on right now, I've actually got it on my computer right now, is a video about the Benson Hotel in downtown Portland. So I'm really excited to get to working on that video. I've been trying to start it for like a month already, and finally I have the time to work on it. So the Benson Hotel is next. After the Benson Hotel, I got a video about the Spruce Goose, or H4 Hercules as it's supposed to be called, which is in McMinnville, Oregon. Yeah, and then I don't have footage of the other stuff yet, but I do want to make a video about Pittock Mansion. I want to make a video about downtown Portland and Chinatown. There's a lot of different videos I want to make about Portland, but I need to get more footage for that stuff, and I need to do more research before I can get that footage. So, but yes, currently the Benson Hotel is in the works. It'll be really cool. I like it. I've already done some research on it, and I took a lot of footage of the hotel. A lot of footage of the hotel. So I'm actually really excited. Adventure of the Stone says, when they do reopen, do you think the rooms on the Queen Mary will be renovated? The carpet was so awful. I doubt it. Honestly, I doubt it. Because currently the only money that's being spent on the ship is for the major, most important repairs. Not aesthetic stuff. Not stuff to make the ship look prettier. So I doubt they're going to replace the carpets. They really should. Those carpets are decades old. You know, they're worn out. They need to be replaced, but I don't think they will. Carpets cost a lot of money, and they don't have the budget for it right now. But yeah, the rooms do need to be badly renovated on the Queen Mary. Conrad says, future videos, sunrise, sunset, nighttime shots too. Yeah, I'd like to do that for all sorts of stuff. I don't know what you mean though, but I do want to get some sunrise and sunset videos video footage of the Queen Mary. That's part of the reason why I want to stay there for a week. I also want to get a better camera that can see at night a little bit better, so that way I can get those good shots of the Queen Mary at night. Crittenden says, do you think B340 will go back to the third class route? No. B340 is a major money maker for them because they've invented so many stories around that room that now it's just famous nationwide. So no, it's unfortunate. I wish they would. B340 is part of the reason why the Queen Mary is in such bad shape. I mean, yeah, some people will say, well, Alex, these Halloween events and the haunted aspect of the ship makes the ship a lot of money. And I say, yes, you're right. It does make the ship a lot of money. But the whole haunted aspect of the ship that they've been selling to people is what has ruined her reputation. It's like I was saying earlier in the live stream, even when I was there, I remember taking like tours, and they'd be talking about these incredible spaces and their designs and stuff, and occasionally you'd hear people just say, oh, is this room haunted? After spending all that time, as someone else was saying, after spending all that time talking about the history of the ship, and then the only responses you hear from people are oh, is it haunted? It's like, come on, dude, you're learning some precious history here, I feel the same way too. That's why on my channel I don't cover haunted aspects of stuff. Like my Benson Hotel video. The Benson Hotel is known for being a haunted hotel. Am I going to mention it in the video? No. Because the reason why is I've noticed that when you talk about haunted stuff all the time, those beautiful historic places I mention in my videos, they start becoming just known as haunt places. And then all you get is this crowd of people who just want to see ghosts and don't care about history. And it's funny because I've seen some YouTubers who go to the Queen Mary constantly to film videos there about how haunted it is, and they go, oh, we love the Queen Mary, we love her history. I'm like, then why don't you talk about it? Why don't you talk about her history? Why do you only film haunt videos there? Like, don't you think that if you love the Queen Mary so much and you make all your YouTube videos about it, don't you think that you'd want to help the ship somehow? It's in a bad condition. That it very nearly came this close to the city voting to scrap it. Don't you think that maybe it would be better if, you help the ship by promoting it as something much more than just a place full of ghosts? So I do have a bit of animosity towards the whole marketing of the ship being haunted. Yeah, the Queen Mary is pretty creepy in some areas. Some people have seen some ghosts. I don't doubt it. But again, as I always say, it's not like there really is like a portal to hell at the bottom of the ship. Maybe it's haunted, but it's haunted with happy ghosts. It was a happy, successful place in its heyday. It was much loved by everybody. It deserves a lot more than just to be some giant haunted house, So yeah, those haunt events make a lot of money, but only during the haunt events. What about the rest of the year? The rest of the year the ship is a ghost town because no one's there. It's like, it's sad. It's sad. Sad ending for a ship. Robert says, there's a tough one, maybe. Would you rather sail on the Normandy, France, or Hindenburg, assuming they take a little easier landing? They take it a little easier landing. Oh, the Hindenburg. Yeah, because of the landing. Funny. Well, oh, that's tough. If you mean the France as in SS France 1916, then yes. Yes, I would sail on the SS France. I actually like the SS France, the one from 1916, not the one from the 1950s, or 60s, or whatever it was. But the SS France from 1916, the one with the four funnels, I actually think that's a beautiful ship. I would voluntarily sail on that ship. So yeah, that's actually an easy answer for me. Um, Mark says, yes, there is a full video opportunity just in the beautiful Art Deco clocks aboard, and there are so many. The light fixture's the same. Oh, yeah. There's, I mean, honestly, you're right. I could make videos about the Queen Mary's clocks. I could make a video about the Queen Mary's light fixtures. I could make a video about the Queen Mary's different styles of handrails. There's so much video potential with the Queen Mary. I mean, even for people who probably doubt it, just think about it this way. What if the Queen Mary was the Titanic? Don't you think it'd be really interesting to get little minute videos about little details, like how many like different styles of toilets there were, how many toilets there were on the whole ship, that kind of thing, I want to make little videos like that too about the Queen Mary, just talking about like all the different places and stuff on the ship. I want to film everything, every inch of the ship that I can, going down the hallways and everything, and just taking it slow and panning around the rooms very slowly to get all the details and stuff like that. Because the one time I went there to film, I filmed it so poorly compared to what I would like to. I mean, some people are like, oh, you did a good job, Alex, but I didn't do a good job compared to what I need the footage for. So I wished I had done it differently. Back then when I filmed the Queen Mary, I was there filming a vlog. So it wasn't, and some people don't know what a vlog is. A vlog stands for video log. It's like a diary. So a vlog is like, you go there, you have the camera pointed at yourself, and you're like, I'm here on the Queen Mary, eating a sandwich. Like, that's a vlog. So what I do in terms of history videos, those are documentaries. But, just in case you were wondering. But I was on the Queen Mary filming a vlog. So literally more than half the time I was on the ship, I was actually filming myself. So I hated that I did that later on, because after the ship closed, I had no idea the ship was going to close, because this was just prior to the pandemic. This was January of that year. We didn't know everything was going to close down. But if I had known, I wouldn't have filmed a vlog. I would have walked every deck of the ship. I would have gone there, 3 days in a row if I had to. I would have taken a bus or something from my house to the Queen Mary every day for however long I needed to film every square inch of the ship. And I still kick myself for filming a vlog on the ship. I should have filmed just normally. I should have just filmed the ship, because I can make way more videos out of filming the ship than I can from the vlog footage. I can't even tell you, every time I use video footage of my vlog from the Queen Mary and put it into my videos, I get so frustrated because I can only use little clips of it before the camera pans back to my face. And just upsets me that I didn't think about just filming the ship as is. I just filmed a vlog. As you can see, guys, I am very mad at myself for ruining my one last time on the Queen Mary. So anyway, Steven says, very cool, excited to see the Benson Hotel and Spruce Goose videos. Yeah, I think they're going to be really good. I filmed those spaces very carefully. Tyler says, have you heard of the Grand Hotel from Somewhere in Time? No, I've never heard of Somewhere in Time. Steven says, I helped build the Pittock Mansion website. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I really want to visit Pittock Mansion and film the whole thing if they allow me to do it. So I can talk about, because as you know, it's an Edwardian mansion. And I love the Edwardian age in terms of architecture and style. So I'd love to talk about all the details of the mansion and stuff, make videos about it. I'd like to think that my videos actually help promote these businesses, I mean, when I make my Queen Mary videos, I get tons of people saying, now I want to stay on the Queen Mary. I'm going to book a trip as soon as it opens. I've probably seen at least 12 of those comments. People saying like, oh, I'm going to book a trip, and then probably like 3 dozen others where people are like, oh, now I want to visit it, So I know my videos are helping the Queen Mary. At least when it reopens, maybe there'll be more business. Who knows? But yeah, So that's what I'd like to do for Pittock Mansion. Mark says, when I first stayed aboard the Queen Mary, there was no ghosts and goblins. All the rooms were open to guests, including the first-class pool, which had water in it. This was back in 1987. What a joy back then. Oh, I bet. The ship must have been so... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but the ship must have been so much nicer back then in 1987 because there was no ghost aspect to the marketing. It was probably a lot of a happier place, and lots of ocean liner enthusiasts were there, you know. So on the Queen Mary today, you see people, you know, like I was like walking through the engine room and I heard these people like whispering to themselves, like, oh, like, you know, let's see if there's a ghost here, blah blah blah, you know, like, it's just like you see all that kinds of stuff. I've seen other people's videos on YouTube channels where like they'll just like stop what they're doing in the middle of a hallway and they'll start holding a seance right in the middle of the hallway. Jeez, I gotta calm down. And it's just like, I just feel like, geez, you know, I know these people are enthusiasts about ghosts and stuff. I respect that, but I just feel like that's in the long run, it's so bad for business. And it's true. I mean, the ghost aspect has not made the ship profitable. You know, has it earned a lot of money? Yeah. Has it made the ship turn profits? Not really, no. So other things are more profitable than just being a ghost. I don't mind, like, if I owned the Queen Mary right now, would I still have ghost tours? Yeah, I think I'd still offer one tour that takes people late at night, like 9 p.m., you know, takes them through the ship and talks about its ghost stories. But that's it. Everything else would be all about the history of the ship and ways you can interact with that history and pretend like you're part of it, you know. More tea. Ugh. So sad, it's just... You know, I wonder if because it's so cold in my house that the tea is already cold. I'm gonna try to like add a little bit of boiling water in there just to heat it up a little bit. This is my first time doing this, adding hot water to the tea. But I want more tea, and it's freezing cold, so... Alright, okay, so... Crittenden says, do you plan on visiting the Queen Elizabeth too? Do I have plans? No. Would I like to? Yeah. But it's too far for me. It's too far. Dubai is way too far. But yeah, I mean, I thought about it and I was like, you know, the QE2 is a marvelous ship. I mean, it's not on my list of favorite ships, but I have a lot of respect for the QE2, a lot of appreciation for the ship. I would love to see it in person, but it's just too far away, you know? Thomas Brooks says, what years did Disney own the Queen Mary? Well, it must be said that Disney didn't own the Queen Mary. They had a lease for it, so they were essentially... I mean, lease is not the same thing as renting, but think of it as renting. Having the lease for the Queen Mary was like Disney was renting the Queen Mary from the city. So the city owns the Queen Mary. But it's important to say that because I'm not here to like just correct you, but the reason why I say that is because some people literally think that these different companies owned the ship, and ownership of the Queen Mary makes people think that they had certain abilities when they really didn't. So let me just a little bit just to warm it up because it's so cold. You know, I wonder if I can even, just a little bit more. There we go. It's not hot, but it's not cold either, so I just don't like drinking cold tea. Stir that around a little bit. A little bit of sugar. Alright, let's see. Pretty diluted, yeah. And it's only marginally warm after putting it in a cold teacup, so that's unfortunate. But, alright, let's see. Oh, but anyway, back to your question, Thomas. What years did Disney lease the Queen Mary? Late 19... No. Mid-1988 to mid-1992. So they had it for about 4 years. Yeah. 4 years. And they did so much damage in that time. So much damage to the ship. They did a lot of repairs, I will give them that. They did fix up... Well, let me restate that. They painted over, both metaphorically and literally, they painted over a lot of the ship's problems. But yeah, they still did a lot of damage to the ship during those years. Tyler Holt says, do you think the Yarrow Project will ever happen? I mean, someone already asked that earlier, but basically, I hope something happens. But it's too early to say, because first we have to finish the videos. Because the videos are what will sell it to people, you know. So, as of the moment, no, the Yarrow Project will never happen if we don't produce stuff about it. But I'm confident that after the video about the Yarrow Project is made, we can use that video to try to convince people that it's worth taking on. So, we'll see. I have hopes, but it's really way too early to say whether it will ever happen. Way too early. S. Karthik says, can the Queen Mary be towed at slow speeds? Yes, at slow speeds for only a couple miles, not very far. She cannot be taken out into open ocean. She can't. She can be towed for maybe, 5 miles inside the harbor, but no more. So she can't be out in open ocean. Adventure with the Stone says, do you have any suggestions on good books on the Queen Mary? Yes. My number one suggestion, you must read this book, is RMS Queen Mary, Queen of the Queens, by William J. Duncan. And that book was written and produced in 1969, just 2 years after not even 2 years, little more than 1 year after the Queen Mary arrived. So all the history and information in that book was still fresh in everybody's minds back then. So that's what I noticed about that book. That's what I love about that book is that there's so much details about the Queen Mary in that book, because everything was still fresh in everybody's mind. Now, 50 years after that book came out, less people remember all those details and stuff. So you get more and more watered down information today. So having an old book like that is really great. Another Queen Mary book. If you want to know about technical stuff, I recently just ordered the book, the Cunard White Star Line Quadruple Screw Liner Queen Mary. I don't know who it's by. The cover doesn't say. I don't have the book yet. It just barely shipped today after 10 days of waiting for it to ship. So it just barely shipped today, so I don't have the book yet. But that book has all kinds of engineering and measurements and the nitty-gritty of the ship's design. So while the RMS Queen Mary, Queen of Queens by William J. Duncan is about the history of the ship, the White Star Line quadruple screw liner Queen Mary is about the engineering of the ship. Those are my top 2 books I would recommend on the Queen Mary. Any other books you buy are so far just rehashing a lot of the same stuff. I know there might be a few more books out there that are very serious Queen Mary books, but I haven't found them yet, so we'll see. But there are other books that have Queen Mary in it, very light. Like if you get The Only Way to Cross by John Maxtone Graham, he does briefly mention the Queen Mary in that book. That's interesting. I also have a book about the Queen Mary by the Steamship Historical Society of America. It's called The Stateliest Ship. It's all about Queen Mary by the Steamship Historical Society of America. It's a good book, but it has all the same information as the book by William J. Duncan, except less of it. So I'd rather just have the William J. Duncan book, to be honest. And the William J. Duncan book is pretty cheap depending on where you find it. So it's a good book. So I highly suggest that one. Let's see. Mark Hooper says, I'm busting to see those upcoming detail videos of the Queen Mary. Absolutely busting. Nobody has done this queen this kind of justice. I know, I am too. I really want, so like you know what I really want to do? Like, I want to do a video where I talk about the second class library, or the first class library, or the third class children's nursery. I'd love to do videos on those, but I don't have enough footage or pictures of those things. I have like one picture of each. I'm not even kidding. I have one picture of the third class nursery room, and no footage, nothing else. I can't make a video off of just one picture. So, you know, like, until I can film that room, which I'm hoping, we'll see. I know some people who might be able to help, but if I can film that room, I can make videos about it. If I can film the second class library, I can make a video about it. You know, so I want to do all these little details, the light fixtures, the light switches in the rooms. I want to do details on like the woods and the designs of the ship. Stuff that no one has ever covered in video format before. I want to do it, but I can't do it till I have the footage. So wish me luck on that. Or heck, even more than wishing me luck, you can donate to my channel and help support it, so maybe I can pay for that plane flight and stay on the Queen Mary. So love to do that. But Mark Cooper says, yes, Alex, it was gorgeous back in the 80s. It was a luxury hotel with tremendous heritage for what it actually is. An ocean liner with pedigree that cannot be matched. It was grand and proud. That's amazing. That is amazing. I wish I could have seen it back then. RMS asks, what class are you going to go on the Queen Mary 2? The lowest class. I don't think I can afford anything more than that. It's too expensive for me. And to be honest, on the Queen Mary 2, they don't have too much classism divide. So it's not like I'll be forced to stay out of too many places. I'll still be able to see most of the ship. So, you know, doesn't bother me. S. Karthik says, are you going to make videos on other ocean liners as well, or is it only Queen Mary related stuff? Because I suggest you make videos on other ocean liners too, your research and work and your other videos. Yeah, I do. I plan to make stuff. I mean, I already have, if you think about it. I made a video about the SS Princess Louise, and then I've been talking about the Titanic. I have books on Oceanic, Mauretania, and I've been doing research on the SS Johann van Oldenbarnevelt. That's a mouthful. And stuff like that. So I've literally been researching other ships. I just don't have enough information yet to talk about them. It takes a long time to research. So the reason why I haven't made more videos about other ocean liners is because literally I'm not the kind of person that just quickly does a Google search and then just goes, okay, I'm gonna talk about this, talk about that, talk about that. I don't do that. I do serious research into these ships before I talk about them, because I get questions on live streams just like these where people want to know details, and I need to know those answers before I go in there and start talking about those ships. So I am currently doing research on that. So Benson Hotel is next. Then after that is the H4 Hercules, Spruce Goose. And then after that, I'll probably do another history video on the Queen Mary. Actually, I'm going to be putting out... I am, actually. After the H4 Hercules will be a complete redo of my Rolling Mary video. For those of you who don't know, I used to have a video out on my channel called The Rolling Mary, Danger in Rough Seas. It's about the stories of things that happened on the Queen Mary when she would roll in rough weather. And I'm actually redoing that video, have been for the last couple months, with a lot more information, some more stories, better photographs, and better narration. So that video I'm hoping to release after I finish the Spruce Goose video. And then after the Queen Mary, Rolling Mary video is released, you will see the video on the Johann van Oldenbarnevelt. And then after Johann van Oldenbarnevelt, I might do a video about Oceanic or Mauretania. I don't know the order, but yeah. So there will be other ships coming. I'm getting to it. Thankfully, I'm catching up. The reason why I've been working like day and night every day for like the last 2 months, I'm not even kidding, day and night every day for the last 2 months, is to catch up on video production, because I have so many videos lined up. Like all the way till August, I have video ideas lined up, and I can't produce them all at the same time. It takes weeks. So I've lined them up in such a way that it gives me time to research the subjects just before I make them. And stuff like that. Like the first time I ever made a Queen Mary video, it took me 6 months of research before I actually finally made the video. And people might go, whoa, Alex, 6 months, why? And the reason why is because I wanted to be knowledgeable on the subject of Queen Mary before I started talking about her. And even then, 6 months wasn't enough, because afterwards people were like, well, Alex, here's a correction to that, and here's a correction to that. And so 6 months wasn't enough. Now I'm confident enough that I feel like any videos I make about the Queen Mary, first of all, I've got tons of people who can help answer my questions. So I have lots of people who are just like, hey, ask me your questions. And I have those people. So thankfully, I'm confident enough that I can put out a video about the Queen Mary, and there won't be much wrong with it. So, but yeah, that took 2 years so far of research to get to that level. So imagine if I'm talking about Oceanic, like, I gotta know my stuff, I gotta know my stuff, because I hate putting out videos where I get something so easy wrong with the video, Now, let's see. Jedi says, I know it's a dumb question, but do you think if Mr. Murdoch let the Titanic hit the iceberg head on, would she have survived sinking? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if I say anything, people are gonna like jump on me either way. So I don't want to answer that, because there, like, again, like I always say about the subject of Titanic, if I ever try to talk about the history of Titanic, people just jump on me for it. They just go, no, that's wrong, you can't say that. And so I don't talk about it. So yeah, I don't want to do that. Mark Cooper says, I found that book. Thank you, Alex. We'll get a copy. Yeah, it's a great... You'll love it. It's so interesting. It's so... Oh, my gosh. I'm surprised not many people have that book, to be honest. It's the Queen Mary, Queen of the Queens. Such a good book. There were a few times where I even, like, shed a tear while reading it, because there was some really beautifully written spots of the book. Mark Cooper says The Sway of the Grand Salon is also a wonderful book. Really? What is... I've never heard of that. Do you know who it's by? That would help me find it. The Sway of the... John Maxstone Graham. Oh, okay. Oh, The Sway of the Grand Saloon. Oh. It's just about ocean liners in general. Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, I can get it in hardcover. Nice. I love hardcover books. I hate books that are paperback. Ugh. So hardcover books, love them. That's actually not a bad... That's a good price for that book. Don't have the money for it, though, but, you know, when I do, I'll try to get it. Oh, dang it. I should have put it on my list. Let me see. Here we go. Let me add it to my list. I've got a lot of books too, so a lot of people are wondering, you know, part of the reason why it takes me so long to make these videos is because I also have to read the books, you know, like, I've got like 4 books I haven't even finished yet on ocean liners. So I have to read those books. I've got so many, and I've got another one coming. It'll arrive on April 5th, and I have to read that book. Like, I've been reading so much lately on ocean liners. It's incredible. Where's the thing to add it to my... Oh, here we go. Add to list. There we go. Oh, wow. There's only one left in stock. Jeez, well, I hope they restock it or something. I don't want to order it and then just be told, oh, it's no longer available, you know. All right, let's see what other people say. Jeffrey says, do you have any new Disney videos planned? So I have an idea for creating a video about the Mark Twain riverboat and the sailing ship Columbia. But the problem is that those videos take a lot of time to make. And when I make them, I only get like 1,000 views. And that might sound like a lot, but it's not enough. What happens is the views on my channel as a whole, when I publish Disney videos, they take a dive. And I just spent the last 2 months building up the views on my channel. So I'm actually afraid to make the videos now, because if I make them, the views will drop. And then I'll have to work 2 months again to build the views back up. Because now most of my viewers are ocean liner fans and general history fans. So, yeah, and the other thing too is that, you know, I need my channel to make money in order to keep making videos, and those Disney videos don't earn me money at all. So, so yeah, they actually hurt my channel when I publish them. So I don't know. I do have an idea for doing that, but It's not currently on the schedule because it'll take a long time to produce it. So I don't know. I might be able to insert it somewhere between one of my Queen Mary videos and stuff. I still have the other videos that I originally took down from the channel because of copyright issues that I can still redo and republish. Like, I know Pirates of the Caribbean is celebrating its 55th anniversary this year, so I already have a Pirates of the Caribbean video that just needs to be re-edited to take out the copyrighted stuff. So I could put that up sometime this year in celebration of Pirates of the Caribbean's 55th anniversary. But that one's not a new video, it's just an old video. But yeah. Otherwise the Mark Twain video and the Rivers of America video, those would be brand new videos. Yeah. I just don't want to make any promises because, again, like I've said, like, I've spent the last 2 months trying to save my channel because the views just took a dive after I published a bunch of Disney videos. So I'm actually kind of afraid to publish Disney videos now. Let's see. Mark Hooper says that it states Formica laminate is installed in bathrooms, doctors' quarters, and the clothes washing facilities of Cunard's ocean liner RMS Queen Mary when it begins service. Yeah, that's true. There, yeah, I remember knowing. I remember reading about the Formica laminate, which is pretty cool. I thought it was actually beautiful laminate. Adventures of the Stone says Queen of the Queens is a bit expensive, $50+ on eBay. I got mine on eBay for, like, literally, I think I paid, I'm not even joking, I think I paid $8 for my copy of Queen Mary, Queen of Queens on eBay. It was for buy it now, not for, let me see. RMS Queen Mary, Queen of the Queens. Let's see. Oh, geez, whoa! One person's selling it for $100. Jeez. You can get a first edition for $20, free shipping on eBay. Yeah. It's a first edition, too. Well, they're all first editions. I don't think they made any other editions of them. So it's, yeah. But yeah, $20 right now, eBay. So you guys better hurry. Yeah, that's it. The one that's $100 and the one that's $20. So, like I said, I was lucky I bought mine for $8. But yeah, it's there. Let's see what other people are saying now. As Karthik says, this might sound very, very stupid, but is there anything on Earth that can lift Queen Mary? I don't know why I'm getting these crazy ideas. There isn't a single machine that can lift the Queen Mary. Not a single machine. But I mean, if you have enough, like, hydraulic jacks, you can lift the Queen Mary a couple of feet, maybe up to 2 feet or something. But there's no single machine that can lift the Queen Mary. She's too heavy. She's literally the weight of several buildings, you know? So, Jeffrey, Could I email the old Disney videos I had to take down? I don't think I could because of licensing issues. So they already contain copyrighted material, but I'm not allowed to share them outside of YouTube because of the fact that that they contain lots of material that is considered free licensing on YouTube, plus copyrighted material. And so yeah, I could get in a lot of legal trouble for giving those videos out. Yeah, I can't do that. So I know eventually I will have them all up on the internet, just not all at once and not in a quick period of time. Eventually they will be all back up on the internet. But it'll have to be very slowly when the channel is getting a lot of views and I feel like the channel's healthy enough to take a dip once in a while, then I can do that. But at the moment the channel is still recovering from a low view count, which is weird because like in the last month I've had like 200 new subscribers. So you'd think that the views would be going up quickly, but they're not. It's just really weird. But Mark Cooper said, sadly the costs of these exquisite publications, especially original hardcover, is becoming out of reach for many. Yeah, that's true. These old books, you know what I did think about once. I don't think I'll do it, so don't expect me to do it. But I did consider if I had the time, maybe I'll record an audio version of these books for people to listen to for free because as you know, more and more people are switching to listening to audiobooks. And books like the RMS Queen Mary, Queen of the Queens, will never make it into audiobook format because no one would pay for that, you know, like, so, you know, you have to hire the voice actor, and no one's going to pay the voice actor to do that. So I thought, well, maybe I can do it, you know, like, I'm pretty good at reading out loud to people. I mean, that's what I do. My videos are all scripted, so I'm good at reading, you know. So I thought maybe I'll do that sometime, but it would take forever. Just letting you guys know, it would take a long time to do that. So maybe when I have the time to do it, and you know, maybe I'll record an audio version of that book, at least that one, if not maybe a few more, put them up on one of my channels so everybody can at least hear it, if not read it. So yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Adventures with the Stones. Glad you got it, because, like I said, it's a good book. You know, it's worth it. As Karthik says, in the future, do you think there will be any ship faster than the SS United States? Like ocean liner? I don't see it happening. In terms of ocean liners, no. I don't see it happening. But I mean, there already are ships that, I mean, you know, not ocean liners that are faster than SS United States, but I don't see it happening in the future. But it's actually kind of funny. I don't know if you were there for my last live stream on Tea Time, but I was talking last Tea Time about how I was talking with, you know, my friend Steve, and he was saying that he has seen logs during World War II on the Queen Mary that said the Queen Mary was traveling above 38 knots in some areas. It wasn't a sustained speed. It wasn't like she went the entire way across the ocean at 38 knots. But when she did enter dangerous waters, she could go 38 knots. So, I asked him if he can find those logs for me. So right now he and his friend are looking for the logs, so that way I can like because I want to make a video about that. I want to make a video about how the Queen Mary, by technicality, could surpass the speed that that the SS United States was going when she won the ribbon. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, technically, in terms of the speed that she was going when she captured the ribbon from the Queen Mary, technically the Queen Mary could actually go faster than that speed if she disengaged all her safety systems and disregarded the safety of the passengers. She could have gone faster than that. So that'd be some interesting information. Let's see. You're welcome, S. Karthik. RMS Queen Mary says, I'm getting the Lusitania models. Cool. Yeah. Hopefully Titanic Honor and Glory, they do finally produce that Queen Mary model. Then I'll get a bunch of their models all at once. I'll have to paint them myself because, they're backed up already on painted models. So I'd have to get the gray ones, which is fine. I can paint them myself, but yeah, I'd like to do that. Anyway, we're coming up on 2 hours and 20 minutes, so I'm actually going to end the live stream now. But yes, in the coming weeks, we have some really great non-Queen Mary videos coming that I'm super excited about. Right now I'm working on one, the Benson Hotel, really beautiful Edwardian style hotel here in Portland, which has a really cool history and construction. I think you guys will really like it. I know even if you're not interested in hotels, if you like ocean liners and you like, the history and stuff like that, I think you'll like these videos, and especially about the Spruce Goose. Again, even I'm not an aviation person, I don't like airplanes generally, but the story of the Spruce Goose, or H-4 Hercules, is so interesting. It's worth a watch. So I do hope when I put those videos out that you all will watch them, because they are so interesting. So those will be next. And next live stream is this Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So I've been doing streams for tea time on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So in case you're wondering, that's usually when I put them up, and then the day before I usually put out like a notice that the video is going to happen. So anyway, yeah, so watch out for more videos on this channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.